that time again. Yeah, it's time to relax. Kick off your shoes, loosen your slacks. Put your feet up and have a drink or two. Nothing's on the table with Angie and Lou. Angie and Lou.
Well, that's a groovy tune, if you ask me.
I'm digging it. I'm
I
digging
am too. I like it. I'm
it.
still mesmerized by his talent, man.
It's amazing.
Just
So, just hey, I just have a quick public announcement. You know,
uh-oh.
I have a lollipop because I was low sugar. This is not any innuendo, Bear. If you're watching, this is not for you. It's not for you. It's for medical purposes, not for your entertainment.
Now, if the Democrats were saying that, they'd say the complete opposite. It's total complete oral training.
That's
Possibly
right.
even the best training. I don't know. Maybe you'll have to ask Kamala.
Right. A gentle what is it? An oral splint with gentle traction.
I've never heard that before.
No.
That's funny. No.
Oh, when I was younger, when I was in HM2, that was big. You know, like, man, get over here. Why don't you put an oral splint with gentle traction? Yeah.
I like it. Oh, I used your saying the other day. As a matter of fact,
Which one?
I'm an alpha until I meet another alpha.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to use that, and I did.
Nice.
And
How'd it
it
go?
went over great. I
Just
just got the deer in the headlight look. It's like,
man,
what?
damn. What do I
Yeah.
say?
Right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, man. Everybody's alpha till they meet one.
it's so true though, man. It's like,
Hmm.
the whole. I'm not going to go into it, but what I was talking about with the evaluation system before, yeah, it was with regards to that. So,
Yeah.
but the looks I got were just like, wow. And then, well, Casey Grau.
Yeah.
He's over on the other side of the table. He's not really in the conversation, but he's sitting there, and I just hear him snicker. I look over him, he's snickering, while the other guys are just like, what do you say to that? He gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Casey
Yeah.
totally gets it. But anyway, it's Friday night. Since we're both old and have no lives, we're back here live
Of course.
with
Of
nothing's
course.
off the table. And of course, I have nothing planned for tonight. Why
No.
would I? Why
No.
would I?
Plenty going on though. But before I get into going on, so very interesting. I'm on a new book. And this time I'm off of what did I just finish? I just finished the stock market, the basic stock, like stock market basics. You know, I didn't know anything. I don't know anything about the stock market. I don't know anything about stock.
I
Buy
don't
low,
either.
sell high, right? Would be all I could tell you.
Right.
Is what you're supposed to do.
Right.
How do you do that? I have no idea. And so it was really a basic I've been doing the great courses through Audible.
Hmm.
And so if it says great courses, I take it. That's what I use my credit for. I have a member, the Audible membership.
Right.
I think it's like $15, $14.99 or something, $15 a month. And you get a free credit book, I've gotten books for $53 for that one credit, right? I mean, so it has been a value. And then I've gotten some $8 books by accident. I like wasn't paying attention.
Right.
Whatever,
Well,
so I get
how do you get credit though?
every month you get a new credit. They, $15 is a credit, right? So every
Oh,
month you get a credit.
okay.
And they stack up, right? So if you don't use them, they'll stack up.
Sure.
Um, and so I use them regularly, but I've been using them on this Audible Great Courses series, which are like lectures. You sit in on lectures. So I did Ancient Egypt. It was great. It was this Egyptian expert who was lecturing on on Ancient Egypt. Then you sat in on his 24-part lecture series, right? Or whatever. And so I've done them on Ancient Egypt, the Vikings, all kinds of stuff, right? I'd have to look at the list anyway.
Was the Crusaders, was that one of them or no?
No, that was a different book. The
Okay.
Crusades that I did was a different book. But they're really good, right? And they're, like I said, they're lecture series. Oh, I did Law School for Everyone. That was pretty cool. And in fact, so if you were to ask me, right, and probably on this show I've bitched about this, until Law School for Everyone, right? Like what'd you learn that opened your eyes. I would have said stare decisis was probably the worst thing in judicial, history, right? The judge just has to do what, he has to do based off of others, right? He can't really, really whatever he feels, right? However he wakes up, there's precedent and stuff. So
Unless you're in New York.
right, unless there's like
Wait,
different,
what?
yeah, right,
Never
yeah,
mind.
there's like different, there's ways around it and everything. It's insane, right? Like they talked about that too, like how there's ways around, like people find ways around things. But anyway, what the person was saying was, the reason the judge has to rule based off of previous rulings in his area. They said that's the thing, it's in his area. So if it's in a different area, they can do whatever they want. Right? So if Allegheny, like I live in Allegheny,
Interesting.
Allegheny County has ruled on this, then if you bring that lawsuit into Allegheny County court, then the county has to continue to rule the same way. But if you bring the same issue into like Luzerne County, if they've never ruled on it, now they can say something entirely different.
Huh.
So it's by area. And what they said was, and like I said, the eye opener to me was the guy giving the lecture was saying, it has to be that way. You can't have things coming up for question every 6 months and then have it ruled on based on how the judge feels that day. No one will know how to conduct business. It'll be too volatile. Nothing will be secure. You have to, he said, even though some people end up screwed, it provides railings.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yes. He said, even though some people get screwed and they get lost in the fact, and sometimes it doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't apply in this instance. It doesn't apply. It doesn't make sense, but they still have to go that way in that area because people have to understand how to operate and that's the way it'll be for a while.
Hmm.
That's why you can't just flip questions in a certain area because
I
they've set up that way.
I get it. It does make sense, but
Yeah.
somebody's always getting screwed.
And you know what? And that's true. But you know what? I never heard it explained that way. I'd always just heard the argument against it, like, oh, it's bull, and I never heard like an argument for it. I never thought that way. Like, yeah, you do have, I get it, man. You got to be, yeah, I see what you mean. You can't be, suing for asbestos levels every 6 months, man. You know what I mean?
Right.
We can't be doing that.
Right.
So anyway, so that was interesting. So anyway, I was going through the great courses, and now I'm on the Colonies before 1776, and it is good. It is good.
So give us a snapshot.
Man, there were some hard people. So they were talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
Smith, right? John Smith in the story of Pocahontas. They were like, first of all, father hated Pocahontas. She was enamored by the West. He didn't like that. She loved London culture, British culture. She had snuck away, things like that. He didn't like that, right? So John Smith and all them land, and I forget the name of the tribe, right? I can't remember the name of the tribe. But Smith is establishing the colony. He's a workhorse, right? He talks to the tribe. They capture him. He goes through this little ordeal, but they let him go, and basically they tell him, you can go, but I mean, you're gonna be dead in a year anyway. It doesn't matter, right? We're not helping you anymore. So he goes back, and they lose a lot of people, and it's rough. And what the lecturer says was, he says the interesting thing is, he says Smith writes 3 versions of this story. He said the first one is what we think happened, which is, he was captured. They don't really care, and so, they let him go saying you'll be dead in a year anyway, right? We're not helping you. You have nothing for us, right? These guys died. You'll be dead next.
What up, Dan?
Right. And then he said, then he writes the version with Pocahontas coming in and arguing to save his life, which he goes, we know, which is what the movie and Disney and all that, he said, which is what all your books are based off of. It's romanceful. It sounds wonderful. He goes, but at the time, the chieftain had already disowned Pocahontas and probably wouldn't have cared what she had said.
Whoops.
Yeah, he goes, so we don't really buy into that one. He said the third one is sort of has the same issue, which says, his colony captured Pocahontas, threatened to kill her if they didn't release Smith, and they had a big standoff, and he released Smith for Pocahontas. They said, but we know that didn't happen. We don't believe that happened either, because again, he had disowned her and wouldn't really care if they had held her hostage. In fact, he let her go to England, where she ended up dying anyway of disease like the reverse, how we brought disease there. She ended up catching disease over there.
Chlamydia, gonorrhea,
Yeah,
herpetogonosyphilis.
right. Jackie Onassis Kennedy. What? Oh, did I say that out loud? Anyway,
Whoops. All right, Dan. We'll see it. We'll catch up, dude.
yeah, brother. So anyway, so I thought that was interesting. Was they were talking about Jack Smith, and then they said, yeah, and later on, Pocahontas did marry the other guy, John something. But yeah, just they're just talking about the colonies. Like there was a colony that was going to fail. The guys were packing it up. Too many people died from the plague. They're like, this sucks. This is too much. But they said, but it was an investment for ore, right? And what they're saying is a lot of the problem with these early colonies was they didn't want to work. They wanted to just look for gold, right? Because the more gold they could find, the more money they could send back and keep a percentage, right? So they all just wanted to find gold. And that was all that it was about, was just looking. These colonies were just looking for ore and minerals. Nobody wanted to farm. Nobody wanted to work. And so they'd end up with no food, right? They're like, holy shit, this winter came out of nowhere because nobody knows these seasons. Nobody knows anything, right? Indians aren't really helping. The Indians are already having problems since the 14th, right, 15th century, around the 1400s with the Spanish and the French, right? They're already there, and they're already having troubles, right, in the 1600s and stuff, 16th century. They're already having issues with the British and all, and
So
everybody's.
my question is this tribe is this tribe the tribe of Elizabeth Warren by any
No,
chance?
I don't know. I think it could be 128th, right?
You said Pocahontas.
I did
don't
say
know.
that. I did say that. But people forget, right? Columbus landed in 1492, right? We didn't just like fight the Indians in 1764,
Right.
right? I mean, like these things, the Spaniards and the Italians and
there's even talk that he wasn't the first.
maybe not,
Lore.
but my point being is, we hit it in 1492, or that's what, and so they've been having issues with foreign invaders for a long time before the US, a long time, right? And picking different alliances, and then they have their own internal problems, right? They have their own, chief, issues and stuff, right? But what they're saying is in the beginning, these, the Indians were kind of like, maybe we'll help you, maybe we won't, right? And the ones that they wouldn't help, they were screwed, right? Because all they were doing was looking for gold, right? It wasn't that they didn't know how to farm. They just didn't do it.
Greedy motherfuckers.
And then you had William Penn, right, who came over Pennsylvania, and he tried communal living after the second year in his colony, right? And it almost destroyed the colony. That's the story of Thanksgiving, is they had to come and help because the Indians had to help. Communal farming almost killed Penn. Just look it up. Look up the true story of Thanksgiving. What happened in William Penn's colony? I'm from Pennsylvania. A lot of Pennsylvanians don't even know this. But they first year they had such a bountiful harvest. They said, we'll just do communal living again, right? We'll just do communal, like just go do whatever, right? And then bring it back in September so we can store it for the winter. Well, only like 4 people came back. Everyone else fucked off because it was communal living, right? Pardon my language.
I will look it up if I can get some construction paper and make one of them hats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the pilgrim hat.
Hell
But that's what happened. That's what happened to William Penn's colony, and they had to stop that, man. They said, we can't do that, man. All right, everybody needs to farm, and we need to check on it. But there was one colony, I can't remember if it was down in Jamestown or around Jamestown, one of those first colonies, right, where they were done, man. They were ready to pack it up, but right as they were loading the ships, right? It takes days to do these things. As they're loading the ships, man, the reinforcements come from England. They said dude landed. I can't remember his name, right? But they said dude landed, was like, nope, get back to work. Number one, you're gonna work, right? Because what happened is Smith, right, from the story, he went back to England, and he couldn't get elected governor or something, and he went back to England. But all he did was talk about America and what's going on and the problems, because he thought the biggest problem was nobody's working here, right? Everybody's looking for these things. It's run from out on the side. It can't be run from England,
right?
It can't be run from England because you're not there, and you're telling these guys things that,
God, that sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Right, that are not just going to happen, right? And so that's when this guy's like, all right, I'm going back to check on these guys. So this lord lands to check on his investment and is like, oh no, you're not leaving. Oh no, Oh no, get back. No, get back. We're gonna work. We're gonna farm. We're gonna make this. And then they said he instituted like some crazy stuff. Like they have his documents and like he was talking about he instituted government immediately with like the Quaker type government where it was like the death penalty. And he's like, and it's not like you and I thought, man. 3 times absent from church, death penalty.
Wow.
Oh yeah, he said this guy put the kibosh off on all this nonsense. You're gonna go to church, you're gonna go to work, and you're gonna make this colony succeed.
This is the type of history that I love.
Yeah,
Not the mainstream crap that they put out in grade school and the textbooks, but
yeah.
the real down and like the British are coming.
Oh,
Which-
I know.
Yeah, that's a fascinating story as well.
I
But
think
anyway,
so.
please continue.
No. I mean, well, that's it. Just that guy just came down, laid like they were just saying people. It took hard men
Oh, for
hard men to
sure.
tame this, and that's how you get to the Declaration of Independence, right? I mean, like these are these people, like these like before them, this is the history of what got you up to
It's our lineage, yeah.
how these people operated,
Wow, interesting. Yeah, the Paul Revere story is funny, and I think you're the one that brought it to my attention of
yeah,
why would he say the British are coming?
right.
They were still British.
We were all British.
Yeah,
I went on the Paul Revere tour. Yeah, I went on the Freedom Trail.
I did that. Yeah.
If you go to Boston, you go on the Freedom Trail, you go to Paul Revere's house. When you go to Paul Revere's house, the guy said that's from a children's book. This guy wrote a children's book in like the 1900s or something. And it was the British are coming. And he was like, he never said that. We hadn't seceded from Britain yet. It wouldn't make sense. We were all British. Why would you?
Yeah.
I felt so dumb when he said that. I was like, oh my God.
I did too.
That
When
is
you
so
said it-
obvious. That is so obvious.
And I bought into it my whole life.
Yeah. He goes, no, man. What he said was the regulars are out. They're called the regulars.
That's
And he goes, and he didn't even make it. He got like halfway. He got stopped. Remember, like that's why that's why you have Lexington and Concord. He ended up passing it on to another dude who actually finished out the ride because he
funny.
got stopped. Like him and someone else got stopped.
But I will say this about Boston. If you're a history buff, what a great city.
Oh my God! Walk the Freedom Trail. Walk it
Yes.
twice. Walk it twice.
So I actually did. When I was going through sub IDC conversion, there was another 25 in class with me, and we're like, "Hey, man, let's go to Boston for the weekend," because we just happened to be in a phase that we really didn't have anything to do. You know what I mean? We just got done with Rad Health, waiting to go into the other conversion specific courses, while the rest of our class they started straight into the
Yeah.
IDC portion.
Pharmacy.
Yeah, all that crap. So we're like, screw it, man. We got permission to go to Boston, and we stayed there like 2-3 days, and it was fantastic. Did the whole tour. The what's it called again? The
The
Trail.
Freedom Trail.
the Freedom Trail.
Constitution, Bunker Hill,
Yep, the
Cops Hill, the
Constitution.
cemetery. Man, it's so much. It's so much. Where the marketplace, where the shot heard around the world was, the city hall, the
church.
the
Was it
church.
the
Yeah, that's
oh
yeah,
my
all
God.
of it.
So then,
Constitution.
couple months later, found out I made chief, and I got lucky enough to
Go to the
go
Constitution.
to the Constitution for the week. And man, you talk about the best time. It
Yeah.
was just fascinating. Now, of course, we had some folks with us that there's always going to be those that bitch and complain. But man, you know what? You missed a fantastic opportunity. Because if you know how you can tell who are the ones who are really into it and who are the ones that are just doing enough to get by.
Yeah.
I was into it, man. I was like, this is fascinating crap, man. I'm standing on the
Yes.
oldest.
Yes. Where
You know?
heroes were, man. Heroes.
Yeah.
Like hard men.
Yes.
Hard men were on those ships.
So
Those ships. Climbing nets. Fighting on the nets.
yeah.
I mean, fighting on the fighting top, getting shot with, and like, listen, like people are like, yeah, you get shot with a bullet, man, it hurts. Yeah. Imagine being shot with a round ball.
Right.
That doesn't like that doesn't have a needle point entry, like create cavitation.
Nope.
That thing just smacks into you and tears.
Yeah, it's just solid mass
It
smacking
just
the crap out of
smacks
you.
and fractures inside.
And at a much lower velocity.
Oh, it's terrible, man. When they shot Captain in the duel, Captain Stephen Decatur, and maybe someday, we'll talk about it. Maybe I'll give my little talk on that here,
I
because
think you should.
it'd be very easy to do, man. It'd be very easy to do. But when he got smacked in the hip, Decatur's last words were, "I didn't know man could know such pain," from that ball.
Yeah.
Just I'm sure it fractured his pelvis in multiple places. I mean,
Oh, guaranteed.
yeah.
It's so wild. Yeah, never mind. There goes that thought. That thought's gone.
Well,
See you later, thought.
we were talking about the history in the Constitution. I mean, that thing was around in the in the War of 1812. I was looking at the Constitution Museum has the original loadout order, right? Like its original supply order from the ship surgeon, which was not Amos Evans. Amos Evans is the famous surgeon from 1812. I forget the first surgeon's name, but he was basically a friend of the first captain.
Blasphemy.
They had, yeah, I know, they had known each other, and I forget the name of the first captain too. Because Isaac Hull and Bainbridge were the War of 1812.
I'm gonna need you to haze yourself after the show.
I know, right? But they were friends, and he had a private practice. And what the captain did was he went to him and he said, "Hey, we're launching a navy. Would you mind being the surgeon on the ship?" And he said, "Okay." He said, "Tell us what you need. We have a budget. We'll get it for you." And he wrote the list out, and they have that list. They have his
Oh, wow.
in his writing, like his. And it's like it's monstrous, man. Like bleeding bowls, leeches, herbs, like bullet extractor, And when you see it, they actually have the stuff,
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, the bullet extractor looks wicked.
Barbaric.
Yeah, I'll tell you,
barbaric.
it's horrible. I'll tell you, what's horrible is that dental has not changed at all. And and when I talk to them, they're like, "Well, the gas is better."
No.
So
so I got that going for me,
yeah,
which is nice.
Yeah, gunga, the gas is better, right?
So I forget the monument. It's
Bunker Hill.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
So we were at Bunker Hill.
Yeah,
as
Bunker
the
Hill's pretty cool.
selectees, right?
Go up the stairs.
And yeah, and so we're getting pushed. I'm having to do push-ups, and the IDC, it was a female chief. I think I've told you this story before, but maybe the listeners haven't heard it. Well, two of them. But so anyway, she's just being a real cunt to me, right? And I'm like, I know this chick. I know her from somewhere, right? And then she's all in my face. I'm doing push-ups, and then it dawns on me where I know her from. And I'm like, "Hey, Chief, how many diver T-shirts do you have?"
Oh no! How many does she have?
I know of at least 4.
How many diver shirts? That's terrible. That's terrible.
So I don't know if I should explain that much or not, but
lot lizards.
Yeah. So anyway,
lot lizards are everywhere.
She was like 2 classes ahead of me in IDC school.
Oh, there's so many of them. There's so many of them, and they ruin it for the good ones. I feel bad for the good ones. So many. So many of you have suffered undue lack of respect because of your sisters.
Yeah.
Who cared nothing for you, only for themselves.
Yeah. But as soon as I said that, she turned pale as a ghost and wasn't fucking with me anymore. And we all got to get up and enjoy the rest of our tour there.
Yeah, man. It's so funny though. I remember coming to a command and them telling me, man, like, I hope you're better than the last doc. And I'm like, what? They were like, the last one got pregnant twice to get out of deployment. I was like, huh? So I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yeah, I can guarantee I won't get pregnant to get out of deployment.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the fact she sucked so bad even to say that to me.
Right.
Like, I mean, obviously I'm not, but that's how much their faith in corpsmen was ruined. To them it wasn't male female thing, right? Like it was the can you do it or not? And you're
It's
not doing it.
yeah, it's so much more than that because
Yeah, and you're
that
not doing it.
trust level, man.
Yeah, and because you're not doing, and then it reflects on the Navy, right? Like, well,
Yep.
this is what the Navy, this is what the Navy's given us. That's it. That's how the Marines look at it, right? Like, well, this is how much the Navy cares about us. Look at this piece of shit.
Right, right.
Fuck the Navy.
You know, it's my last submarine I was on, I got basically pulled there because they fired the corpsman,
Yeah.
and they
What was
fired
his
him.
name?
Roger Buck.
Oh,
What a piece of shit. Um, he made chief, and he quite literally dropped his pack.
oh
They told me all the time that if he wasn't in his rack, he was on the cruise mess playing Xbox,
man.
and it's not hard to believe it because we were at C1 status when they brought me to the boat, and we're deploying. Oh, in 4 days. Do what you can to get us to C3, and we'll go from there. So anyway, I was we got underway on deployment. I'm back aft going through. I have to do a wall to wall inventory, bulkhead to bulkhead, and I found 4 boxes of TODs that were supposed to be mailed in that never were.
Oh, the detector.
Yeah, the thermoluminescent dosimeter.
Yeah.
Which when I found them, I went back up and I started looking through Sam's. He falsified the document that you have to send into yeah. So what a shit show that was. But my whole point in that story is to say you're absolutely right. One idiot can ruin it for everybody.
Yeah.
Once that reputation, once that trust is broken, it's really, really hard to get it back.
You just reminded me when you said gun decking IDC, right?
Oh boy.
So this so this actually involves my wife, right? So I meet my wife and I ask her to go on a date. And so we go on a date, we go on a couple of dates. And it was right about my 3rd date with her. We were in my room getting ready to go because I lived in the barracks, right? And the barracks was right outside of the hospital, and she worked at the hospital. I met her 2 days after she got her job, right? And she had gone to Western Michigan University. It was funny. Like the whole time I was in Japan, she was in America. And then I met her like my last year there, right? Right as soon as she got there. And so anyway, it's the 3rd date. I said, yeah, just meet me here, right? And I had to get something, right? So she was in my room. I was getting something, and this guy shows up, and it's a friend of mine. I know him from work, and then I'd said, we both listen to the same music. I said, oh, yeah, let's stop by sometime. I'll show you what I have, whatever, right? And he never did. It was one of those like, yeah, we'll catch up sometime, right? Whatever, right? Whatever, just like a conversation piece in the hallway, But now he did show up. And he shows up with another guy, and he wants to see my CDs now, right? So I'm like,
CDs,
okay,
yes.
sure. So I show him, I know what's going on here, right? So I show him my CDs, and I watch his buddy talk to my wife, right? And I'm like, well, let's see what she does, right?
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 Yeah.
So my friend's trying to leave, right? Because I guess she's giving him nothing, right? And so he's trying to leave, and I'm like, oh, no. I'm like, I'm making it even more awkward for boy right there. Right? Now he's got nobody to talk to, right? She's
Right.
not interested. Yeah.
Oh,
And
man.
I'm like, oh no, let me show you the rare ones I found. Now, let me show you the duplicates. Did you know in Japan you can get bonus tracks on CDs you already? I'm getting deep into it now, man. So anyway, that happens, right? And we go out that night, and I'm talking to my wife, and I'm like, that's so weird, right? And I'll leave the names out. But she said, oh yeah, she said, I know he likes me. She said, but he sent someone to ask me out, and I said no because I'm with you because you asked me yourself. She goes, I'm not like that. She's like, you have to ask me.
Nice.
She's like, you asked. He sent somebody. That's
a bitch move.
Yeah. But she said, but he's cute. Don't make him stay. See, don't make no mistake. He's cute, so don't be screwing up.
That's when you
But
tell her, well, have you seen my CD collection?
yeah, he actually changed that. So this kid actually changed the Navy, man. This kid actually changed a Navy instruction before he got in trouble, right? See, now you're taking me down memory lane. And for those of you listening who are in the Navy, you remember we used to have the brig, and then somehow the brig kind of went away, and we had pretrial confinement facilities, right? Okay, part of that was this kid that was in the works, right? They were always working on that, but this kid, the same kid, beat the crap out of this guy on the 3rd floor of the barracks. I was out at a softball game. I come back, there's blood everywhere,
Damn.
and it's in a V, right? It looks like a pool. It looks like a pool, and there's a V, right? Like, so it looks like it came. So as you like look up at where the V is going, you can kind of piece together what happened. Somebody came from the barracks bleeding profusely, decided I probably should go back to the ER because that's why you see this little like pool and this trail of blood to the ER. Like, this is not good, right? I need to go back, right? And went back to the ER, right? This happened right. The pool of blood was right across from 1407.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it came from 1407. Like, the kid crossed the street in that back alley and then went back to the ER, right?
That's funny.
So there's an MA on the 3rd floor. I live on the 3rd floor, okay? I live on the 3rd floor. There's an MA on the 3rd floor. The police are there. Everybody's cleaning. Everybody's outside. I'm like, hey, what happened up there, man? He's like, nothing. I'm like, what do you mean nothing? Obviously something happened. There's blood everywhere. I'm like, just tell me what happened.
Donut eating bitches up here that you're normally not. So
he's like, I'm not telling you anything. He's like, this is quite. I was like, man, I live there. I'm just gonna find out in an hour anyway, man. I was like, whatever. So of course I find out in an hour, of course,
or less, right?
Of course,
right.
So kid was a shipboard kid, right? And when you're ship shore, always a problem, right?
Yep.
Always a problem. Shore guys get mad when the ship guys be banging our women.
Yep,
we do,
and vice versa.
We get jealous.
Westpac widows, baby.
Yeah, we get jealous. Anyway, so apparently one was up there, and it was at they had some words, and he beat him down. And then after he beat him down, he went back to his room, grabbed a bottle, came out and smacked it off his head.
Oh shit.
And like cut him all on the side of his face,
Damn.
So he went to jail immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Without trial. Can't do that.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah. So he got off on all of that. And he got a C school, a very coveted C school.
Whoa.
Yep.
How?
Got off of all of it. Got a lawyer, and you can't go to jail can't go to jail. Can't just throw somebody in jail.
Wow.
So that's why they call it the pretrial confinement facility. They threw his ass in the brig. You can't go to the brig. There's very specific instructions on who can go to the brig.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I worked at the brig in Great Lakes.
Yeah, there are very specific instructions on who can be confined.
That brig, let me tell you what, man, that was a very misleading place because most people thought it was just for recruits. But we were the facility for basically the whole Midwest.
Mm.
So we had some unsavory type characters, and we were a 3-year facility. So once their, whatever their sentence was, if it was more than 3 years, then we'd have to chase them out to another facility, usually Miramar.
Okay.
But we had some, it was wild. It was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was cool. I qualified.
I worked at a jail. I know.
I qualified all of their watch sections. I couldn't stand the watch, but it was something to do.
Sure.
Because I went in there, once I got their medical department, they fired the IDC that worked there because he was going to college full time during the day, not coming in and doing his job.
Of course.
And,
why would I?
right?
Colleges would get you promoted.
Yeah, and so the only reason they found out about it is because they had announced an IG inspection pending, and so of course they start going through everything, right?
Yeah.
And, well, where's Chief so and so? Oh man, we haven't seen him in days. Oh, really? So they launched their little investigation. They fired his ass, and I got sent over there as a punishment.
Oh yeah.
Believe
you
it or
did
not.
tell. Yeah. Okay.
All right, good. You remember that story. It ended up being one of the best places I've ever worked ever
Yep.
as a punishment. And so I went above and beyond just as just like to stick it in their face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um, just a big finger. And when I've told you the story, and I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but anyway, I ended up getting I got 0 discrepancies,
Nice.
and they went back and the senior member was a captain, and he told my department head or the OIC of the clinic I worked at that I deserved a NAM for it because he's never seen 0 discrepancies.
Yeah.
But truth be told, it was super easy. You know, I didn't have anything to do but that, and I was left alone. Super
Right.
easy. Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, she refused because she hated me. And being the overachiever I was at the Brig CEO ended up giving me a spot NAM. And that really pissed the clinic off too. But I
Oh,
mean,
you know they get mad, man.
but it was just so cool. I don't know why we got on this topic because my mind is
We're just talking about jail. I mean, just jail. Just jail in
yeah.
general.
Oh,
with
oh
this
yeah, yeah,
Brig.
yeah, yeah. Oh, he changed. Yeah, okay. The pretrial confinement. Got it.
Yeah, pre-trial confinement.
Tracking.
That's all. He
All right.
just got in trouble. Yeah, the guy got in trouble, and they confined him, and then they let him out, and then they put him back in. Then they kept messing with him, man, and they kept doing it the wrong way, and so finally they just had to give up. And he got off, and they gave him his C school, and all charges dropped, and
What C school they give him?
orthotech,
Oh my god.
coveted man, coveted C school, wearing scrubs, fucking making bank, you know?
Did you see Ray's comment?
No.
Columbia House is still looking for you.
Oh yeah, I know, man.
I'm still waiting on my 8 tracks. Damn it.
Did I ever tell you about my triple date out at Tower Records?
No, I don't think so.
I never did. Oh my god, man. All right, I'll tell you. So this if
Long
I
story,
tell this
super long.
story, Andy, here's the only thing. If I tell this story, it'll be the last story before our
Oh, jeez. Is it that long?
well, it's also that kind it's kind of that close, man. We covered a lot. It's already 9:45.
Well, this is true.
Yeah.
It really? Damn.
But you'll enjoy I'll tell you what, you'll enjoy it.
All right, let's do it.
All right, man. All right, let's do it. Okay. So this is a true
All right,
story.
cool story. Anyway, just kidding. Just kidding.
Right? This is a true story from 1999. So I went on a date with myself. I had this girlfriend. She worked at a makeup shop, and she used to travel a lot. And she spoke Chinese, fluent Chinese, and spoke fluent Japanese. She was Japanese.
Hmm.
Um,
Was her name Something Wong?
no, yeah, right.
Oh.
Beautiful girl. So she asks me, do I have any friends? Because she has 2 friends. One owns a restaurant, and we'd like to go on a date for the restaurant. I said, okay, sure, no problem. Where is it? She said, it's in Yokohama. I said, yeah, I'll find some people. So I talked to my good friend Morris. I think you might have talked to him before. I don't know.
Hmm.
Big black dude. We used to work in the warehouse together. We still talk to this day. Awesome dude. He's the one who installed Sam's in Fuji and found the gay cookies.
Oh, okay. Did he work in Yeah, he did. You just answered that question by saying
Yeah.
that. Never mind.
So
I know who you're
Morris,
talking about.
right? So Morris Burke, right there. So he's doing it.
He was prior Navy, right?
Yeah, he was prior
Yeah,
Navy.
because he and I we couldn't figure it out. We knew each other from somewhere, but we just couldn't figure out where.
Maybe. Yep. So Morris is with me, and then we have another guy with us. I'll leave him nameless because it happens to him.
Oh, geez.
So Morris drives, right? So we get in the car, we drive all the way to Yokohama, and there's Tower Records. Tower Records is right across from I think like a little bit of a cemetery, and then there's down the street was the restaurants, right? But I used to go to Tower Records a lot because, like I said earlier, the CDs, it's true, right? I found, I was collecting these groups like Depeche Mode. And if you found the same album in Japan, it had bonus tracks. And I was like, oh, cool. So I would always go shopping. So I knew right where Tower Records was. So we go in, we park, we come out. and then a light mist begins to hit. And this is how well I remember this, right? This is how I know it's a light mist. Okay. Um, I'm walking with the girls. We meet them, and the girl says to me, "Where are the other two?" I turn. They're like way back. Like we're almost at Tower Records to cross the street to the restaurant. And I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, well, why are they back there? I said, here, wait here. I'll go see. Right. So I start walking back, and like Japanese people are crossing the street. And like I said, there's a light mist.
Can I guess?
And I go fucking, well, hold on. Let me finish. So, 'cause if you guess, you might throw off the
Okay. I'll
seven.
shut up. I'll shut up.
So I say, what's going on? And Bert goes, he shit his pants. And I'm like, no, I can smell it. And the dude turns and goes, no, see, I did. And I look, and his pants are way too wet for the weather. They're way too wet for the weather. That's why I remember it being just misty out, because in my head, I'm looking at these wet stains that go all the way down his pants from his ass down his ass, right? And I'm like, I'm trying to think like maybe it's the rain. Like I'm trying to make excuses in my head. Like this is not happening. Like this is a triple date. This is not happening. Right. And I'm like, what happened is all I can say. Right. Is all that come out of my mouth is what happened. And Bert, the big black dude, looks at me and he goes, we get out and we meet the girls and we start walking, and he says, I have to take a shit. And I said, okay, we'll be at the restaurant. And he goes, no, we need to stop. I need to take a shit. And I said, okay, man, we'll stop. And he goes, I need to shit now. Or he goes, if we don't stop, I'm going to shit my pants. And he goes, and I looked at him and I said, what are you threatening me? And he goes, no, see, I did. And I'm sitting here hearing this story for the first time in Japan at 9:30 at night on a triple date. What am I going to tell these? They're back there waiting for me to go back and give an explaining. I'm like, what? And he's like, well, I have to go back. And I'm like, are you, yeah. And Burke's like, I'll take him back. And I'm like, all right, man, I'll think of something. I'll think of something. So I walk back, and on my way back, I just make up some bullshit about them being ER doctors getting paged. I never in my life would have. I will tell you this. I have never, ever. I can say with a clear conscience, I have never in my life misrepresented myself as a doctor. I have never in my life.
I haven't either. I have a story about that,
and I have never like supported others, but I absolutely told that lie that night. And I was telling our mutual friend Andre this story, and he was like, you probably cheated those women out of the laugh of their life.
Right?
I said, you should have just told them. You should have told them.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I would have told them. Probably sacked all three of them with that story.
Yes. Oh man, I would have. I wouldn't even hesitated.
That shit.
He shit his pants. He's got to go back.
That shit was hilarious, dude. So here's the thing. So here's the epilogue. There is an epilogue. So me and Burke agree, and you've been in Japan, right? You know where the mailboxes are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, and then you're walking towards the ER. That first door on the right used to be the linen room.
Okay.
I don't know what it. Oh, it's Fleet Liaison now.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the linen room. Okay. So this is where this goes down, right? And actually, I have another story for another time. But so me and Burke are like, oh my God, man, that's the funniest fucking thing, right? We have this kid shake hands with a woman and shits himself. Like we gotta, like this is gold, right? Like we
totally.
Can, like we're gonna die. Like what are we gonna do? And then Burke's like, man, well listen, we can't tell anyone this. This kid will hang himself. He's like, we can't do this, right? So we agree to meet in the linen room at 9 a.m. every morning
about it.
Just so we can we go in there, lock the door. He shit his pants, right? Like that happened, right? Hey, tell me again. You said what? Are you threatening me?
That's a shitty story.
What did you? They bought that we're doctors? Yes, I think.
My God. So, I was stationed in Hawaii, just out of IDC school, right?
I'm
My
listening.
my roommate was an IDC as well. This dude's a fucking grade A piece of shit. There's a lot of reasons behind it. However, I didn't know it at the time. We were classmates, but I didn't know him then. I didn't hang out with him, you know. Um, and moved into Hawaii, they didn't have barracks rooms for us, senior staff or staff NCO. So I had to find a roommate because I couldn't afford a place by myself. Anyway, have you ever been to Hawaii? No.
Vacation.
Vacation. Well, in Kailua, there's a restaurant called the Shack. Pretty cool place. Anyway, we lived up the hill from the Shack, so we'd walk down and get wasted, eat some food, watch some football, whatever, and stumble back home. Well, anyway, we're there one night, and this this dude he goes up to this table, starts talking to these ladies, and then next thing you know, they're all coming back to our table, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And the girl, the friend of the girl that he's talking, she starts saying, "So you guys are doctors, huh?" No, I'm not. Uh, well, your friend is. I'm like, no, he's not either. Straight cock block, you know.
You
But
shit on him.
I did because I, I'm, I'm not cool with that, man.
No.
You know, if you want to be a lying piece of shit, cool. Don't drag me into your little scenario there.
Right. I don't, and I never know if anything's going anywhere,
Yeah, I didn't give a shit.
I mean, no, I'm dead serious, man. Even though I may be out for one thing, I'm like, you never, hey, man, they could slap, there's been times in my life where I was like, here's my wallet and my car keys. Just give me more of that. How do I get more of that?
Right?
What do I need to do? Where do I sign?
No kidding. Yeah, it was just so awkward though, man. You know? And I really, really didn't appreciate being put in that position. You know,
Right.
if it had told me ahead of time, hey, I'm gonna tell I probably would have said something, do you, but don't drag me into it. But
Yeah.
since he didn't, fuck you,
Yeah.
doctor.
Yeah. Doctor. We had a buddy that used to do that all the time, man. All the time. Him and his friend, they were in the ER. They used doctor. And I just, some days I would be like, yeah, I guess. I don't know. Cause I'd be out and they'd be like, is he really a doctor? Cause I was always out at we were always out at the same spots, me and Andre.
Mhm.
And we'd run into people. They'd be like, Andre never did that. I never did that. And I'm saying there were other people we knew who would.
Sure.
They'd be like, are they really? Sometimes I'd be like, yeah. But most of the time I was like, I don't know. Ask him.
Yeah, but he graduated last in his class, so
Yeah,
you got to
like,
take that into consideration.
I never saw the need to lie about it. I never saw the need. I don't know. That's not in my, I don't know.
Repertoire.
I'm trying to think, what things would I lie about?
But I was proud as hell to be an IDC,
I
man.
don't know. Yeah. I mean,
So I didn't want to lie. I worked my ass off. The number one, get that school, and then I worked my ass off through school.
yeah. And
Why
I
am
did a lot of
gonna-
good.
Yeah, well, and why would I downplay that?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah. And we did a lot of good.
and this is the same guy though. He made chief the year before I did, right? So he was. I'm not going to mention names. It's pretty touchy. He was in 2-3, 1-3 deployed, and he was banging one of the corpsman's wives.
Oh man. Yeah.
But there's a happy ending because he got orders to be an instructor in IDC school, and he got a DUI. Oh. So guess who wasn't an instructor at IDC school anymore?
Shame.
Yeah, karma, man. It's going to catch you every time. Never mind. It ain't even worth it. He's a piece of shit. I'll always be a piece of shit, and no need to talk about him anymore.
That's what I'm saying, man. I forgot to tell you about the dude showing the CDs because I got off on the tangent about the other kid hitting on my wife, right?
Right.
But anyway, that guy, come to find out years later, I go to IDC school. He's in the class graduating, teaching CPR to the kids coming in.
Oh.
Right. So he's teaching me CPR.
Oh.
Fast forward, I come back to Japan. He's like not in the brig, but he's out because apparently he was on a ship and did nothing for 3 years, and his replacement got there and he tried to offer him like $3,000, and he was like, this is way beyond $3,000.
Oh, whoa.
It is too much.
Wow.
And then he went and tried to jump off the ship.
Oh,
So
failure at everything, apparently, huh?
comes around, goes around, but you can get bonus tracks.
Just no Japanese punani.
Nope.
That's hilarious. What are we talking about tonight? Pinups for vets.
That's the charity. Are we ready, folks? You got to check out Pinup for Vets. We advertise it all the time. They can, they actually have a lot of stuff. They have throw rugs now, pillows. They have more than just decks of cards. You ought to go over there and check it out. They have some really cool stuff. They also have some patriotic furnishings too that don't necessarily feature the ladies from the pinups. And as you know, Pinups for Vets is all vet related and they're in every theater, man. I guarantee you right now. As our troops get ready to deploy to the man, how about the Middle East, man?
There may or may not be a deck of those cards.
They're everywhere, man.
With Hamas. I'm just saying,
they're always there.
Everywhere.
They're always there, though. Pinups for Vets, reliable charity. Always bringing a smile to a vet's face. It's Pinups for Vets. Check it out.
There is another one because I'm lazy. That's why we're going with the Pinups for Vets. It's not even so much lazy. I got my hands full right now with the boy and his baseball crap. So I have been a little bit lazy to look it up, but there's another institution out there that I will talk about next week. I promise. Remind me. It's Canine Warriors, fantastic organization that provides service dogs to our veterans. But I will cover them more in depth next week. This is the perfect time with you and your mouthful to ask you if you have any last words.
Nope.
While you're chomping down, was that the sucker, the last remaining bit of the
I need
sucker?
the sugar, man. My sugar was, before we started, my sugar was in the 60s.
Oh, wow. You're still low, huh? Because you
No,
gobbled
but,
half of that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it's there. May as well finish it, right?
Mm-hmm. It was drying out.
No need to waste.
Nothing's good dry. We all know that.
Amen.
Hey, guess what I found as we go out the door before we say goodbye? I do have closing words. I found Laugh-In, Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In on Amazon Prime.
Nice.
Unfiltered.
My parents
You're
used
welcome.
to watch that. My parents used to watch that all the time, and I always have to leave the room.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. The first episode, you're welcome.
Oh, really? You said unedited?
It's not just that. I mean, it's just it's jokes you wouldn't get away with today.
Oh, yes. Oh,
you're not getting away with that today.
That's right. The kind of a la Howard Cosell on that Monday Night Football episode.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
This is Howard Cosell. All right, let's get out of here. We will see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Nothing's Off the Table with Andy and Lou, an Admiral Media production.